Okay, I can't tell what time it is, and I've got a phone call to make too, so I'll be on here for like 15 minutes anyway. 2:38. So at 3, I'm off this thing because I'm gonna do, like I said, intervals. Anyway, want to talk a little bit about something that we've been discussing, what episode 7 could be like. Now, if you go on IMDb right now, you're not going to see Harrison Ford listed on IMDb Pro or IMDb as being in the show. Now, it very well could be someone was screwing around, but I don't think on IMDb Pro people are allowed to mess with another person's profile unless they get permission. Okay. Hey, so there's some validity to the fact that it actually was a real leak. It was a real, they were teasing it. It's gone now. To get people talking about it and to shut the naysayers and crybabies and bitches and the bitches up. Okay. You know, they can say, well, we knew Han was going to be in it. It's like, no, you didn't. And then when you did say it, you bitched about it. Okay. You complained. All right. If you're such a big Cara Dune fan, go and rewatch Mandalorian season 1 and 2 till your heart's content and let Star Wars go. Okay. Because that's ultimately the problem. Here's my theory. Since we're pretty sure Han's going to be in episode 7, and I wouldn't doubt we see Luke in episode 6 when Din goes to visit Baby Yoda. We might not even see Din in episode 6. We might see Din in episode 7 traveling to go see Baby Yoda, and then he runs into I think, Mike is right. The leak was deliberate. I'm listed as a fan too. I might go in there and do my own page just so I can actually, have some legit currency on that. But anyway, here's the deal. We're gonna see Han. No doubt about it. But they leaked it for a reason. What else are they hiding? They didn't tell us everything that was going to happen, okay? We know Din is going to see Baby Yoda, so we're going to see him and Luke. But what else is going on? I think we are going to be very surprised at who shows up in episode 7, okay? Because look, the reason why I say this, and this strictly comes from my political training and the fact that when the money guys talk, I shut my mouth so I can learn. Oh, Chewie's in it. Of course, wherever Han goes, Chewie's gonna go. I mean, that's, in fact, I could see Han walking away from Chewie and telling him to leave Black Chrysanthemum alone. Let it go, Chewie, let it go. Or something like that, they have a dog fight, they've got a referee. The reason why I think that there's something even bigger coming is because episode 7 drops the same day that the investors call drops. Okay? This is why I almost think we're going to see all 3 of them together. And the internet is going to melt down. I know that Doomcock was told they weren't. And I'm almost positive we're going to see Han. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see Luke. Yeah, Mike, that's exactly. That's why I think when the Falcon lands, yes, we did. When the Falcon lands, it's not just going to be Han we see and Chewbacca because we expect it. I mean, there he is. I think we're going to see somebody else. And I think that somebody else is being held very close to the breast because of who she is. And, all right, people were asking about Mara Jade earlier. People who aren't newbies, or normies, I should say, know who Mara Jade is. Let's put the investors in. We're just normies. We know who Han Solo is. We're all fans of Harrison Ford. In fact, if you looked at the polls from years ago, Han was more popular than Luke. Why? Because Harrison Ford. Okay? In fact, I always wondered if Mark Hamill didn't harbor just a little bit of resentment that Harrison Ford became the movie star that he is. I can't really say blame Mark either, but he did have a lot of bad luck. And the guy is a pretty good actor. Okay? Hey, Jay! But he got screwed over. When he got hurt, George kept him there, but he was Amadeus. He played Mozart on Broadway. And when they went to make the movie, instead of using him, they used Tom Hulce instead. And I think that hurt his career. I really, really do. I don't think people could ever get past him being Luke Skywalker. And while Harrison Ford's always carried Han and Indy with him, he was able to go out and play different roles. Like yesterday, I watched, while I was making chicken cacciatore, or Palo alla cacciatora, I watched Regarding Henry. Jeffrey Abrams' best film effort. Jeffrey Abrams is JJ. Anyway, so yeah, I think they've got something big planned, and I have a feeling we're going to see something major happen. And I'm going to say this. The more I think about revealing that the children aren't the mule face and the 2x4, I don't think they're going to reveal it at this time. I don't think they should. I would just show Leia if she's in it, if being pregnant, and then no, because look, they show her being pregnant right now. That's not Ben Solo. Okay? That's not Ben. That's not any way, shape, or form what Kennedy had planned. Okay? This is all they have to do is show her. You got Grogu there with Luke's first true Padawan, not Ben. Then you show Leia pregnant, and it basically, it's over. They don't even have to do the Veil of the Force. Even though I think in order to really put an icing on the cake, they do it. Or you go to Ahsoka and have her do that with Luke before any of this starts. Okay? But I do think we're going to see Leia. I really, really do. I think that they really have kept that. That's the thing they're keeping on the down low. There's a, Jon Favreau loves to cook. Okay? He loves food. He loves all this stuff. Well, I could see that. I could see that happening. And the ST people screaming, it doesn't mean the sequel trilogy is being, whatever. And they can be real subtle about it. Yeah. And you're right, Joker voice. But this would wipe out I think the points that people really hated about the sequel trilogy. And it wasn't even Haldo. It wasn't Rose Tico. It wasn't Finn. It wasn't, Poe. It was Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley. Okay. Absolutely no. I mean, this is when I start raising my voice. Because every time I think of it, every time I see them, I want to vomit. And it all has to do with their characters being terrible, the poor writing for them. Actors can help their characters being terrible, but it's very difficult to get past an actor once he or she has played a role that is truly heinous, okay? And the bestest ever, and the mule-faced boy played truly heinous characters in a truly heinous trilogy of movies. It's their fans. Yeah, he is. And you could actually, actually, if they wanted to kind of keep something like that in the story, it wouldn't necessarily be Ben Solo who lost his mind, just like it was Jason Solo in the EU. It could be Ben Skywalker. Okay, I think that would be very interesting. Yeah, I know, Joker. So if you've got Jason and Jaina as Han and Leia's kids, Mara and Luke, and even though I hate, and if they're following what George wanted, Luke wouldn't be married to Mara. And he could have a son. He could have a son. Doesn't mean they're married. Again, attachments. And I think for what he wanted to do, I think George poo-pooed that. So, and if they're following at least a lot of advice that George wanted, again, he gave them script treatments, outlines. He never followed his own outlines, okay? So you got to remember that this is just a base to work from, and then that's not working. Let's reconfigure this. Okay, now it works. When I think about that, Troy, it just makes me laugh. He wanted to introduce Darth Talon. Okay. And there's been rumors that he wanted Mara Jade. He better not be doing that, Eck. Mike. That's true. For all we know, Han might actually have a kid somewhere. We don't know. Before he met Leia. It was what? He was 17, 18 when he went into the Imperial Academy. I'm not counting Solo. Got out in 2 years, went into the fleet, got kicked out like 2 to 3 years later, ended up, going to Narshada and hooking up with the smugglers and learning that. Okay, there could be a young Solo running around. It's very interesting to me. So and that doesn't hurt his character, okay? Just because he was a different man at the time. He was a different guy, okay? And that would, hey, wind in my face. I haven't seen you in a long time. So but we are going to get something way bigger. Yeah, he is. So he was at the end of the Clone Wars. That was 19, 20 years before the Battle of Yavin. Han would have been 9 or 10 years old. Which makes him about 30 when he was taking Luke and Obi-Wan to Alderaan and all this shit happened. And I really think, hey, I am CK. I really think that that's okay, that there's something more coming, and I think we're going to get a hint of it tomorrow. Okay? We might even see Han tomorrow. I mean, you know, it wouldn't shock me very much to see the Millennium Falcon parked somewhere close in a hangar where Luke is. I mean, they are in-laws, they are best friends, you know? And if Luke is starting his academy, maybe you know what? Here's something for you. Din flies to Yavin. Din flies to Yavin. Luke tells him, yes, the governing council gave me the moon to start training a new order of Jedi, and Grogu's my first. That would be freaking cool. You know? I mean, it would absolutely, and then you see the Falcon in the as it's coming into land, as Din leaves. So you get the hint that he's there, that Han is coming maybe with Leia for a visit or to drop something off or something, whatever. Okay, that would be interesting to me. And then Din Djarin leaves and goes back to help Boba Fett. Now tomorrow we also may just see Boba Fett. Okay, which doesn't bother me. Maybe, but you gotta remember that the Darksaber isn't like every other lightsaber. It literally is attuned to the emotions of the user. So Din basically saying it gets heavier with every time I swing it means it's attuned to him, what he's feeling on the inside. Oh, I could see that. I could see that. It would be very interesting to see Luke just basically explain it. But I can see Luke looking at that blade, knowing what it was, and saying, this blade knows how, I mean, it basically is kind of a sentient being. It knows how you feel. And it's feeling off your anxiety and your fear. Okay? The blade was made by a Jedi. First off. Second of all, it wasn't like any other blade anybody had ever seen. It's a lightsaber, but it's different. And when Din swings it and it's getting heavier, he is fighting it. The blade's fighting back. Now, and part of it, I think, it's because he was a bounty hunter. Okay. Part of it was because he was afraid, and he was afraid, and the blade was sensing it. You know, it would be very interesting to see how what Luke would say about it. You know, I have half a feeling that because Boba Fett has that rancor, that he might end up with the blade. Okay, maybe the blade wants to be with him. Maybe when Boba Fett sees it, it decides, and he's like, what the heck? But you got to remember, and this is partial canon now, Jango Fett was the Mandalore. He was the heir. The man who adopted him was the Mandalore. And he was killed, and Jango is the heir apparent. So Jango's dead, and the Mandalore, if you're looking at blood, inheritance, is the Mandalore. Boba Fett is. Okay, so, you know, there are three different people who want to be. You got Bo-Katan, who's an heiress. You've got Boba, who's an heir. And you got Din with the sword. Okay. Black Darksaber want to be with Bo-Katan. and it's squidging around with Din. Okay, we might be very surprised at who the Mandalore ends up being, because remember the legend, the great what was it? The great day of man, the great mythosaur will rise, blah 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 will ride it, and the people of Mandalore will be mighty again or something like that. And then the armor just goes, that's just a myth. I'm just putting that out there. I'm just putting that out there. Okay. Because I think it's very, very, very probable we're going to see something go on with, because that we've got all this other stuff going on. But what I find interesting now, as we're getting closer, is what is the big reveal? Because I think it's gonna knock. I mean, I think it's gonna knock people out there on their asses. I do. You know, we might find. I mean, Dan. Look, here's the deal. Dan isn't a bounty hunter anymore. Where's he gonna put the? Where's he gonna put marks in his? Naboo starfighter. You know, shrink him up and put him in the droid carrier. Where? Okay, not a bounty hunter anymore. But there's something else going on. You know, Code Raven, that's interesting to me. They said there was a woman walking around in red body paint with black markings on it. That was a rumor I saw on Reddit. And that would be very interesting. That would be a twist. That'd be a holy mother of God twist. We didn't see that coming. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they can pull on us that we're going to be blown off our seats. And the thing about it, again, guys, is the investor's call is 14 hours after that thing drops. Okay. And the last two episodes, tomorrow's episode is directed by Dave Filoni. And he did a really good job with Ahsoka, I thought. So, you know, and I think there's going to be quite a bit of interesting stuff going on there. Well, we'll have to see. I mean, we'll have to see what happens, but I know we're going to see Luke and Baby Yoda. Hey, here's something that you guys didn't know. Did you guys know that the young X-Wing pilot was Luke under the CGI in the hallway scene? Did you? That was him. So they're very much using him. And oh, by the way, if they ever wanted to recast Luke, he would be the one to do it. He would be the one to do it, not Sebastian Stan. Guy's too tall. I mean, he might look like Mark Hamill, but he's too tall. You want to be consistent, okay? And the reason why they CGI'd Luke is because they wanted consistency, and I'm sorry, but a lot of fans would bitch and moan if you know, got an actor, even Sebastian Stan. Okay, I mean, there are a lot of people that bitch and moan about Anthony Gruber. It's like, yeah, and that was really, I mean, I thought that was fantastic, to be honest. When I first looked at him, I'm like, because he looks like Mark Hamill. He really does. But I think he's cuter. I'm sorry, I do. He looks like Mark before the accident. And there's a lot of easier, it's easier to mesh a face with a face if the structure is the same. But yeah, so I have a theory that it's not just going to be Han and Chewie, it's going to be Leia. And hey, that Darth Talon theory that she's really running the show is very interesting. Oh, I know. I know that was him. Yeah. So, you guys, this is exciting to me. This is where the fun begins. Is these last two episodes are going to be a blast. And yeah, she shows up with a baby bump and a sizable one. No mention of Ben Solo anywhere. Let the Raylos and let the people think that the ST is still on. They don't have to mention twins. Okay. And, be a lot of yipping and yapping until Mandalorian season 3. Okay. Meanwhile, we don't know what the main story is saying because we're not on that track anymore. We're not following them. And what I love about this is that it completely derails the novels. It completely derails the novels. There was no Grogu in, the story groups stuff. I mean, there's a lot. Well, it's going to, this derails everything. And what I want to tell you guys this, I said this morning, but somebody asked Pablo Hidalgo, are you going to write another book? And he said, I'm taking a break. What does that mean? I said this morning, the big picture is more important than the nitpicking. All right. And the big picture is Disney's making big changes. All right. Big. They have to. All right. It's no use complaining about prices going up in the parks and, them going cheap on things. They don't have the money. They don't have the money. And people who do money understand that, or they should. Okay. It's very obvious, that they want Star Wars to be profitable. And, with every little bit, well, Troy, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Again, I think Disney is making a big mistake by not going public with a lot of this. You take the narrative away from the black pills. They don't, hey, Star Wars theology, they don't have anything to say. Okay, they don't have a word to say. And, like this, with this Han Solo news, they push back the goalposts. That's all they can do. That's not. Well, I mean, I think you could be right, Troy. I don't think personnel changes at like Lucasfilm are that big of a deal. Like, and I'm not talking about Kennedy leaving, I'm talking about people in the story group who are like down below, uh, that going public with that, saying they bought out their contracts or whatever they have to do, and that goes public. I don't think there's a problem with that. I mean, gee, Variety sure was fast on Pablo when he screwed around with Star Wars theory, weren't they? I mean, does anybody know if he even took his apology? Look, Pablo can apologize till he's green in the face. Doesn't mean he was sincere. Okay. Not even a little bit. Okay. He doesn't have to take that apology. What Pablo did was insult all of us. Not just Star Wars Theory, but everybody who watched that episode. I can't imagine how mad they were, the story group. I can't imagine. They thought they were in control of everything. And then, so if he's saying he's on a break, I don't know what that means. It could mean he's on a break. All right. We'll do the simplest answer is probably the logical one, right? So he's on a break. He's on a break. Could mean he's relaxing, he's on vacation, or it could mean he's not allowed to come into work, or they fired him, or they bought out his contract. And we just haven't heard it yet. They do this all the time. They did it with Carrie Hart. I'm sure she was the one that got blamed for Soilo. She was a producer. She was on the set. She was there. She was listed in the credits. And they did it with Andy Gutierrez. They put it up there. The Star Wars show is going on hiatus. Blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, in May, she gets a new job. They didn't announce Dave Filoni's promotion. And that was it. That happened a year before it was up there. Okay. I really think that if they went public, and here's the deal, they go public with that. Oh yeah, they were, but she'd been there for 30 years, and she really wasn't a person with a lot of controversy around her. You know what I'm saying? She was just the PR person, but really she didn't go on Twitter, calling friends man babies and showing pictures of, middle-aged guys in diapers like Ryan Johnson did. So that I could see. But when Pablo leaves, I mean, he could very well go Chuck Wendig and freak out online. All right. And I'll tell you something else. If he's let go and he doesn't say it on his public, somebody in his private chat on Twitter will put it out there. They will put it out there. You can't, the idea that anything, I think the reason why is because they can't get over the little skinny rat being the dragon lady. All right. I mean, but I gotta tell you, back in the late 1980s, when Elle Macpherson and Claudia Schiffer and Cindy Crawford and Iman and the rest of those true Glamazons were strutting their stuff, when Michelle Pfeiffer was at her finest and Kim Basinger, no one would ever have noticed Amelia Clark. No one. No one. Right? I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm like, yeah, and she can stay at Marvel too. Please, just go on and, here's a hamburger. If Pablo gets fired or let go, and it gets public, it'll probably be a leak, an accidental leak. It'll probably be on Hollywood Reporter or something like that, or Collider will, somebody like that will report it. And then Mike Sutton will come up and say, yeah, I heard that too. And then all of a sudden it'll be general knowledge that Lucasfilm is going to have to admit to. Okay. or they just put it out there. But my opinion is, if you fire him, put it out there, break up the story group, say there are major league personnel changes going on at Lucasfilm, a lot of the negative crap will go away. Okay? A lot of it. And I'm going to urge, if somebody from Disney or Lucasfilm is watching right now, I urge Dave and John to get Joanna Bennett and have her take the place of Gina Carano. Don't call her Cara Dune. Don't recast it. Just, she's not in it anymore. Yeah, and I think she's like the boss. And she also works closely with Dave Filoni, and I'm pretty sure he's like, again, you notice how Pablo doesn't follow them in his, you know, I think she's a dog. I think, I grew up in an era where anorexic little bodies like that weren't, teenage girls, you know, I don't, I don't watch Marvel so they can have her. Go with God. Okay. It, you know, what I'm saying is if Disney was to go public with personnel changes, with the Acolyte being canceled, which, look, that show doesn't have a director. It only has one cast member, and it looks like as you know, that girl, was an if-then contract. The only person who's listed anywhere in production is Leslie Headland. That's it. I'm done hearing about it. Okay. It's not going anywhere. I would be very, very shocked if, Chapek and Arnold allowed it to continue. Okay. I'd be very, very shocked at that. Because, again, is there a fan base clamoring for a show based in the High Republic? No. How well has the High Republic sold? See, that's the thing, Mr. MH, is that they had Brie Larson, they were talking about casting her, and if she was signed to it, then we'd be fucked. Then we'd be like, okay, we're done. This is going through. It's not gonna make Disney any money. No one's gonna watch it. But this show, High Republic hasn't sold anything. Okay, it hasn't. In fact, I went to both Targets the other weekend, and it didn't have any of the books. None of them. None of the new ones either. None. You go to Amazon Prime to look at the numbers. They're not in the top 100. They're not even in the top 500. And it's like everything that Kennedy has touched is done. They're still trying to sell it on the Star Wars channel. The red-haired lady whom I actually feel sorry for. I actually feel sorry for her. She's got a shitty job. If it gets pushed back again, I'm just gonna go because it's listed on IMDb Pro as pre-production, but there's no one listed, no one else working on it. Not even this vaunted writer's room Leslie Headland had put together. I would think if it was actually in pre-production, there would be a list of writers. There would be a director attached. There's nobody, okay? Nobody, except for Leslie Headland, the girl. Oh, and you guys are gonna love this. Guess who the art director is? The same dude that did TLJ, the art direction for TLJ. You may all know Vomit. I was like, oh, this is getting worse than Kryptonite to Superman now. Just the idea of the idiot who came up with the art direction for TLJ, doesn't have any idea what Star Wars is supposed to look like. Yeah, and you're right. She's not listed. Holy shit. That didn't occur to me. Well done. Wow. I realize something new every day. Thank you. I'm literally stunned by that, to be honest. And Troy's right. It is Schrodinger's cat. I mean, KK herself is the cat. He would have to take it, fire everybody, and then take it to Dave and say, like this, fix this. And Dave shows up dressed in a hazmat outfit with a pair of tongs. He takes it. That would actually be really funny. And he's got the hazmat outfit, but he's got his cowboy hat on top of it. I would laugh. But yeah, that's not happening. And I haven't heard really anything about Indy 5. She's, Kennedy's not there. She's in California. Frank is there in California. It's the funniest. I have a vision of Dave Filoni walking out in a hazmat outfit with his cowboy hat on top with a pair of tongs, and Jon Favreau in a hazmat outfit handing him with a pair of tongs. The script treatment for the Acolyte. I mean, I'm sorry, but that just tickles me. She's not, but there's, I mean, I'm gonna throw this to Mike if he's still listening. Do you think they took Indy 5 away from her? Because I think they did. I think they did. And I think they did it a while back. I think the final straw was seeing those idiotic rumors come out in the Daily Mail. Daily Mail is not the Guardian. And it's not the Express either. It is I think, a pretty good newspaper. Okay? Literally then, the movie was pushed back from its release date. The moment that crap came out. That's big. That says something was going on then. She was on she did that PGA interview where she was, singing the praises of the Children of Blood and Bone. I gotta say that, while she might have had her attention taken by trying to whisk Star Wars away from or at least have some influence over what John and Dave were doing, which was over the moment she screwed around with Gina Carano. Uh, I'm really kind of thinking it was her desperately trying to figure out how to get Star Wars back. Okay, and if you notice, that was also the second time you saw Leslie Headland doing a war dance for the Acolyte and then announcing that girl in Variety. Okay, I think that they tried to get them to notice the Acolyte, and you know, I honestly think it wasn't necessarily the fact Kennedy's attention was being pulled away. It was the fact that Kennedy did not trust that author to write the book or to write the script. Okay, that's what I think happened. All right, it's exactly what I think happened. And well, we need an official announcement. And again, it is another place where the people saying KK is not going anywhere. She's the most powerful woman in Hollywood. Spielberg and Lucas have friends. Neither statement is true, by the way, not anymore. Okay? You know, people bring up Amblin, it's like there are divorced couples who have partnerships and companies. You know, I actually think because The Acolyte really is Headland's production, that she repurposes it as not Star Wars and she takes it over to Netflix. You know? Well, I could tell you some stuff about that nerd who's rather salty too. But all the evidence is gone. But someone should bring up Reylo to him. Because he was awfully fascinated with TLJ. And people wonder why I didn't like him from the start. And Troy's right, we can't say it's done for sure until we see it in the trades. And if they say, yeah, they're not going to do it, Lucasfilm isn't, I mean, Lando isn't being made. Okay? What was it? X-Wings, I don't think is being made. Okay? But there were some other shows that they haven't talked about. And I honestly think they really needed Rangers of the New Republic. They should just create a different character, introduce her, hopefully in Mandalorian 3, and there you go. Okay? There you go. You don't have to go hand in hand to someone whom I think was out the door before it was ever announced. Okay? You don't. And you do yourself a disservice, especially if you're a boss. Okay? You know, and the fact that Disney owes Carano an apology, no, they don't. Lucasfilm does. They were the ones, Kennedy was the one that did that, not Disney. Disney didn't know she was going to do that. If you notice, the people that are naysayers, this shit with Kennedy did not start for real. I mean, it was going on, we knew it, but it didn't start for real until after all this crap with Carano heated up. I am gonna watch Andor because they did a lot of reshoots for it, and I think that's after John took control. You gotta remember that with Kenobi, John fired the showrunner. Fired him. That was Kennedy's baby boy. And they had to redo all the scripts. So, I'm just waiting for, I'm waiting for, you know, well, yeah, and that's part of the reason why. Um, but again, I want you guys to understand because there's politics at play here. All right, you got John Favreau, who's still kind of a young gun in Hollywood, though he's a little older than me. He's my husband's age. Coming in and literally yanking Star Wars away from Kennedy and making it successful, embarrassing her. And the idea, and I'm pretty sure now, with the idea now is to get rid of the sequel trilogy and put it into a separate universe where we never have to look at it again. What do you think she'd do? I'll go to my grave saying that she set up John Lasseter. Okay? I'll go to my grave saying that. Because he was going to end up replacing her. And she knew it. They were not going to renew her in 2018 till John Lasseter suddenly disappeared. She torpedoed Gina and allowed the Fire Gina Carano hashtag that went all over viral on Twitter that started with Inside Lucasfilm to hurt Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and to torpedo what they were doing. Okay? That's what it was about. Gina was something to hurt John with. It's just business. It's just politics, right? And Gina, I don't think is the sharpest tool in the drawer. Didn't realize what she was doing was actually helping the people that hated her. Okay, so it's not as simple as the Gina getting let go thing. It has everything to do with who is who's in control of Star Wars. All right, Lucasfilm. Okay. You're going to see Kennedy's name as executive producer on a lot of things. That is a producer's guild rule. It is not a big deal. And, that is what it is. But they're not going to announce anything big until after the call. But I think, I think it was Mike who said probably during Celebration, but I don't think they're going to do a Celebration. Here's what I think is going to happen. Hear me out. This is a theory, or speculating. Kennedy announces her resignation in a couple months, but they put it out there. Okay. They don't announce a replacement until Star Wars Celebration. Okay. And I'm going to say this. The way the story came out in the Hollywood Reporter about Tanya Adeyemi and how she was traded by Lucasfilm was, part of it was KK's a racist, and now we're going to bash her with it. Okay? That's what it was. They are strongly wanting her out. I believe the board wants her out. And if we get a huge reveal that's beyond just Han and Chewie, I'm going to go and everyone's going to freak out. And then it's going to be Han the way we knew him. Yeah, it would make sense to announce the successor there. Rogue Squadron, the movie that Patty Jenkins was going to make, I don't think is ever going to see the light of day. They said it was canceled. Then they said no. But I think they're just going to let it languish into history. You know. Anyway, I gotta get down. I gotta get down the basement and get a workout in. I'm doing intervals today, legs. So I will talk to you guys later, and we'll just see what happens. See you around the galaxy.